Run It Back Nation, what is good? Sixers sickos, what is good? It is your boy, DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly, no frauds, no fanboys. Never have I ever had an intro. We're going to talk about the 76ers schedule and all of the important parts of it. Maybe compare it to last season's schedule on difficulty and things like that. There's definitely some very key moments to the schedule. Certain players, certain coaches returning, certain matchups. We got to talk about all of it. Give me 1 million likes on the video. This is brought to you by BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Yeah, we're over on the BetUS website. We're on the basketball futures. Of course, use the link in my description. Get 125% off, 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 and 10% gambler's insurance. NBA Conference Futures is right here under Futures section of basketball and BetUS. We can click on Eastern Conference winner, display selected, and they got on BetUS. All right, these aren't listed in order because if you look at the odds over here on the money line, actually the Sixers all have the second best odds. I was a little bit angry when I first looked at this and said, Milwaukee Bucks ahead of us? What? New York Knicks should be probably even, I would say. So 400, 425 for the Knicks and 140 for the Celtics. Of course, we're betting on the Sixers to win the Eastern Conference. Give me 20 on that. Pays out $80. You can do the same thing over on BetUS by using the link in my description. Get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 and 10% gambler's insurance. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. Here you go. This is laid out for you by Adam Aronson on the Philly Voice, a.k.a. Sixers Adam on Twitter. And he definitely gave us some real interesting parts of the schedule. Let's look at all of it. First of all, back-to-backs. So the NBA is trying their best to not have teams play back-to-backs when they have an upcoming nationally televised game. The way they worded it on at least the Twitter post that I saw was high-profile nationally televised games. So you could still have a back-to-back and have a nationally televised game if it's not that important, if it's not that interesting, I guess, of a matchup. If it's like Sixers versus Grizzlies and Ja Morant is out or something like that, and it's nationally televised, maybe you'll have a back-to-back. But for the most part, the NBA is trying to limit back-to-backs before nationally televised games. Obviously, that works out in the favor of the business that paid the money to air the NBA game. If I was ESPN or TNT for the past couple of years and you had entire star-studded lineups sitting out because they played a back-to-back and now my game that I paid $1 billion for isn't getting any ratings, I'd be pretty pissed. I'm actually pretty shocked that it took the NBA this long to get that done. But there's that on back-to-backs. And you know what? What do you guys think about Joel Embiid this upcoming season and back-to-backs? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Joel Embiid is going to play more or less back-to-backs this upcoming season? We've seen him not play. We've seen him go a whole season sitting out every back-to-back, right? Still got hurt, right? Then Nick Nurse comes around and says, you know what? Joel Embiid's actually going to play more under me. And so Joel Embiid plays more back-to-backs under Nick Nurse. Still gets hurt. The load management for Joel doesn't really seem to matter on his injuries, but let me know. What do you think? Is he going to play more back-to-backs, less back-to-backs? Let me know in the comments. The Sixers will play on back-to-back nights on 15 occasions in 24-25. Last season, they had 11. So the NBA trying to limit back-to-backs for nationally televised games. The Sixers actually ended up with more back-to-backs than last year. It is what it is. They were only scheduled for 17 national televised games last season. This season, with the addition of Paul George, they are slated to play 21 nationally televised games. So the Sixers signing Paul George and all the hype around that has given the Sixers more nationally televised games coming up this season. Me personally, I don't know if I care or not for nationally televised games at this point. I don't like to listen to either broadcast, really. You know what I mean? I don't prefer to listen to the Sixers broadcast. No shade. But then I turn on ESPN when they're on there, and I got to hear Reggie Miller mumble and stumble and say a bunch of nothing. I don't know. Doesn't really matter to me. Nationally televised games, whatever. NBA Cup games. Don't forget NBA in-season tournament. That's still a thing. I thought it was pretty good last year. I thought the hype around it was built up pretty good. It ended up meaning nothing. The Lakers won because why wouldn't the Lakers win the in-season tournament and then get swept into playoffs again? But that is still a thing. Here's the Sixers' schedule for Cup games. NBA Cup group play schedule was announced earlier this week. They're grouping here the team's initial 4 NBA Cup games. Outcomes of these will determine whether or not they advance to the knockout round. So yeah, you play 4 games in a bracket or in a group, kind of like the Olympics, and then there's a single elimination tournament. So they have the Knicks, the Magic, the Nets, and the Hornets. I do think that the Magic are going to be even better this season than they were last year, and last year they were sneakily almost a damn second seed in the East. That's pretty favorable. You got a big time matchup with the Knicks. The Magic game could be really competitive. And then you got the Nets, who suck. Maybe that's Ben Simmons coming back to Philly again. And then you got the Charlotte Hornets, who are always very, very bad. That looks pretty okay for the group play to try to get into the single elimination tournament for the play-in tournament. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. And the damn courts are horrible. They were horrible last year. Hopefully they got different courts this year. Last year, bro, I bought a new TV, okay? I bought an 85-inch 4K down in my living room, and I was testing it out. I was testing out the motion technology that it has by YouTube and some Sixers highlights, and the highlights of the in-season tournament came on the screen and almost burned my retinas. Please, NBA, with the colorful courts. Don't do it again, man. Please. All right, let's look. Eastern Conference schedule. Each NBA team plays the other teams in their division 4 times per season, and the teams in their opposing conference twice a year. The Sixers draw of Eastern Conference opponents. They're only scheduled to face 3 times this year. Hawks, Pacers, Pistons, Hornets, Cavs, and Wizards. I feel like the Sixers play the Washington Wizards 50 times this season. I feel like they play the Charlotte Hornets 50 times. I feel like they play the Detroit Pistons 50 times. So they only play each of those teams 3 times. Maybe I feel like they play those teams so much because I hate when they play those teams because those teams are bad and it's not fun to watch. Frankly, this is not a good draw for the Sixers, but there's only so much they can do when in a division with the Knicks and the Celtics. So it seems like the Sixers don't have the easiest teams more than 3 times this season. And who knows what the Cavaliers are going to be. I thought they were going to eventually be contenders, but I don't know anything about the Cavs anymore. They're totally unpredictable. But maybe, the Sixers schedule is looking a little bit more difficult than it was last year as far as at least playing bad teams. And we're going to look at the entire schedule and give our opinion on that also. Celtics and Knicks games, November 16th versus the Knicks, NBA Cup group play. So the first time they play the Knicks is the first game of the NBA Cup group play. Christmas Day versus Boston Celtics, January 15th versus New York Knicks, February 2nd versus Celtics, February 20th versus Boston Celtics, 26th versus Knicks, March 6th versus Celtics, April 1st versus Knicks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 games against the Knicks and the Celtics. And honestly, at this point, guys, I might hate the New York Knicks more than I hate the Boston Celtics. I hate the New York Knicks because they are insanely overrated. I was saying that about the Boston Celtics last year. My hate was blinding me from reality. They were not overrated. They won the championship. The Knicks are overrated. I hate the Knicks so much. I want to sweep the Knicks. That's what I want to do. Other noteworthy dates. Now check this out. There's some fun stuff in here, okay? The Sixers open their season at home against Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, Doc Rivers, and the Milwaukee Bucks on October 23rd. It will be the first time the Sixers open their season in Philadelphia since 2020. Doc Rivers returns to Philadelphia. He will definitely be meted by cheers and applause and graciousness and compassion and appreciative vibes from the fan base, right? They might even do a Doc Rivers tribute video. Yo, what if the Sixers would do a Doc Rivers tribute video? The fans might burn the building down. Tobias Harris will return to Philadelphia as a member of the Pistons on October 30th. Wow, is that Halloween or is that the day before Halloween? That's perfect. You know why? Because I Googled it about a month ago. There is crumble cookie costumes on Halloween. They make actual, you can dress up as a whole crumble cookie. And so what we need to do, Run It Back Nation, Sicko Nation, is we need to buy a pack of tickets to that game. And we all need to wear crumble cookie costumes. That's what has to happen when Tobias Harris returns to Philadelphia. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. Ben Simmons returning to Philadelphia always makes for entertaining television. Ben Simmons' first game at Wells Fargo Center will take place on November 22nd, NBA Cup Group play. I was right about that. Paul George will face his former team LA Clippers in their brand new Intuit Dome on November 6th. The Clippers will come to Philadelphia on November 24th, and that is the return of James Harden. This Adam says in the returns of former Sixers Nick Batum and Mo Bamba. How are you going to leave out the fact that James Harden is returning to Philadelphia on November 24th? I guess that already happened, but we're still going to hear some boos, definitely. Reigning NBA Rookie of the Year, Victor Wembanyama is set to play at the Wells Fargo Center on December 23rd. Maybe 2 days before Christmas, we can get Joel Embiid dropping another 70 points on Victor Wembanyama. Sixers remain on the NBA Christmas Day slate. Boston Celtics on December 25th. That is an amazing Christmas gift. The Sixers will take on the all-time leading scorer LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers. Nobody cares about that. Embiid and Nikola Jokic could battle twice this year, with the Sixers and Denver Nuggets set to face off in January 21st in Denver and January 31st in Philadelphia. So those are only 10 days apart. We'll see what shape Joel Embiid is in at that point. But if Joel Embiid does not play Nikola Jokic in Denver on January 21st, we are never going to hear the end of it. Hopefully Joel Embiid plays both of those games, and hopefully he drops 45, 10, and 7 on Nikola Jokic and a victory in each one. And former Sixers DeAnthony Melton and Buddy Hield will return to Philadelphia with the Golden State win. Nobody cares about that. So there's all the important parts, all the fun parts of the Sixers' upcoming schedule. Everything you need to know about the schedule by Adam Aronson on Philly Voice staff. Full link to the article is in the description. Let me know in the comments what matchup you are most looking forward to on the Sixers schedule this upcoming season. Give me a like one more time. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. Shout out to Philly Voice and Adam Aronson. Again, link is in the description. I'll see you guys very soon.